We don't have much time. Let's go.
I'm a sophisticated sex robot.
Hey guys, Will here. Today we're going to be looking at what's inside this box. Reate T6000. Stay tuned. Okay, let's unbox this. Okay, so what's in the box? Pouch, lens cleaner, metal certificate, 1 of 50. Oh, look at the parts. So different various screws and springs. Some washers. Gives you an idea how it's made. Forget this stuff. Let's see what's in the pouch. Reate. Nice pouch. Got a little patch. This is from Crane's Cutlery. This is glow in the dark. Ooh la la. Okay. So this is a Reate knife, obviously, right? By Alvin Lee. He's the designer. His IG is Alvin Lee Knives. This is from Crane's Cutlery. Good service from them. Their IG is Crane's Production. Their website is cranescutlery.com. And I ordered from them. Let's see, open it up. Got this mesh side with a soft pouch. I guess if you want to carry it lightly, then come on, what we really want to see is a knife. Ooh la la. T6000. So this is a specific variant of the T6000, which is a limited edition, 1 of 50, which has their zircotai accents. Here zircotai, there zircotai, they're all zircotai. There, and wow, over here. Very cool. So the T6000 is a shorter, smaller version of the original T1000. Obviously some sort of Terminator homage with the naming, and I suppose because it's beastly and maybe mechanically, maybe because of the mechanic aspect of it, you know, it has a sort of sweet locking design. The original one cost 500 USD, which has zirconium, but this is the zircotai one, so you're gonna pay a premium for this one, which is $820, which I think is well worth it. I had to get this, actually they released it on the website eventually, but if you want first dibs, they're releasing from their Facebook group. So if you're interested in Reate knives, pinion knives, and other different type of specific other knives, you can check their website out. You can join their Facebook group, and they have like a backstage, another Facebook group in which you can get their limited edition knives. So it's worth viewing if you like this kind of stuff. Just a shout out to them because they have great customer service. So T6000, the shorter one, we're looking at a shoot, where should I start with? Should I start with the locking mechanism? Because I need to open the knife. Okay, so what's special about this? Let's talk about the locking mechanism first, and this is what's special about it. What you have is a frame lock, and then you have these buttons on here, and I think they're more like bolts. I'd rather describe them as bolts, and they're sort of a safety mechanism. I wouldn't even call it part of the lock design in my opinion, because I'm not really sure how much these bolts can hold. Let's take a look if you can see it from there. It's already activated inside, pushed in, and then if you notice, you'll see this on the spine, and that is to release it. Push, and voila, Frankenstein mode. And now you have the bolts out, or the buttons out, and then now it functions like a normal flipper tab. Functions like a normal frame lock. Disengage like this. Engage like this. Oops. Very cool. Sounds very cool as well. If it can drop. It's not really a dropping sort of knife. Catch it on your thumb, on the flipper tab. I'm just gonna push it down. Quite a chunky beast. So let's go over the specs. And then, well, let's not forget. You push it in when it was closed, and you can push it in when it's open. closed format or open. So this gives it another safety. As you push this, that's nowhere to go. There's obviously a little bit of play from where it's going into. Let me deactivate it. Over here, actually on the blade, you can see where these bolts go inside. Okay, you have an understanding of that. So this knife, beautiful, beautiful knife, chunky beast. Blade, we're looking at about 3.1 inches, which is about 7.8 centimeters. Overall, open size, 7.9 inches, which is about 20 centimeters. Closed, we're looking at 4.6 inch, which is 11.7 centimeters. And then as a comparison, the largest size, which is the original T1000, is 3.75 blade. So instead of this 3.1 inch blade, 3.75, instead of the 7.9 inch overall, you have 9 inches, so it's even longer, about an inch longer. So get an idea of how beastly the T1000 is, even more so than this thing. Okay, and then we're looking at M390 bowler, which is a nice super steel, super edge retention, very durable. One of those kind of steels that's so popular with high performing knives. I'm not sure if people are going to use this for high performing. It is a chunky beast. We're looking at 0.23 inch thickness, about 0.6 centimeters. Drop point design. And one of the dealers stated as hollow, but I can feel this. Do you have a card here? Let's see if I can find a card. Yeah. Okay, sorry. They said it's a hollow, but I still don't believe it. So as you see, this is a flat card right here, and you can tell that there's no gap. This is definitely a flat grind. And you can see satin lines. Very cool. So thick and flat. So I wouldn't say that's design is more for durability as opposed to being like a slicing beast. Okay, so and then inside should be ceramic bearings. They gave you washers, so I guess the washers for the ceramic bearings. And I always think that ceramic bearings are kind of silly because ceramic bearings are made for high-speed designs like 10,000 RPMs and stuff like that. So it's more of a marketing gimmick when things come with ceramic. Or I suppose another way to look at it is that ceramic doesn't rust. So maybe that's the reason why people boast the ceramic bearings inside of it. Okay, and the weight. This beastly thing should be 8.89 ounce, which is 252 grams. And let's see what we can get out of it. Yeah. Oh, it's light, a little bit lighter. 8.55 ounce, which is 241. Okay, it's a little bit lighter than I thought. If you're gonna carry this, you're gonna have a matching pants, tactical pants with tactical belt. Make sure that you don't go naked, it doesn't rip your clothes off. So it is definitely a hefty beast, as you can tell, like by how thick this thing is. Really chunky. It's a chunky chode. Okay, so let's just go straight into the pros and cons and everything like that. So I think this kind of knife, first of all, falls into the category of novelty knives. It really feels like maybe this knife right here. I did a review on this Cybertrix, and you can say this is a novelty knife as well. Flat grind. Flat grinds are never as great as slicer as hollow grind, especially when this stock is it's not that thick, so that's okay. So this is more like a novelty design because I don't think many people are going to actually use it, and it's not meant to be a user. I think it's more of a design aspect of hidden hardware, geometric designs, and how they can hide that hardware. You pop this open and it's hidden within the liners. So a very cool design by that guy. You can check out my review on this thing. Super cool knife. Also limited edition until I'm gonna take partial credit for that because this became popular enough that they decided to keep producing it. So despite this one being a limited They marked it with the number 74. I think they're still producing it. Made by Reate. Reate is awesome. So this actually is my first Reate knife, and it's definitely in Reate is definitely in that top tier. So what I would include as top tier, I would say I actually don't consider Wii knife as a top tier. Top tier knives are Reate, and I think some other ones. I have to buy some other brands that I'm not to confirm that. But what I mean by top tier Chinese brands, I think that here's another Reate one. Super cool. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, so you get an idea of what they can produce, and top tier is like, I feel like they don't water down. I feel like there's nothing watered down with this. So novelty, yeah. The reason I say it's a novelty is because if this is really meant to be like a slicer, if this is meant to be a slicer, then they would have put a hollow point on, just like I think Method does, to make it more usable, because you have the thick stock like that. So I think, and as a hard use knife design, I think this doesn't fall in that category, because there's actually the real hard use design folders, and I believe those are cold steel, despite cold steel being kind of like a little bit tacky, I guess, in their style of marketing, but they actually have phenomenal design. See, what do I have that's cold steel? This is a cold steel knife right here. Okay, so that triad lock is actually phenomenal and can take a beating. This thing weighs so much less than this, and this is an actually high performing functioning knife. Can weight hold a lot despite it's just G10 with no liners. And the way the triad lock works is that it's a variable. It slides in here so that it can pick up the slack if there's any kind of wear in here. So it really takes a beating. You basically can treat this like a fixed blade. And you have this is, even though this is flat, this has a super wide, you can see, and thinner. So this performs better in chopping and slicing. So it gives you an idea. When you have something that's so thick and flat, it's not gonna be a really great performer. This is more like, I feel like a safety feature. I'm not confident in that this would actually hold these bolts in here. Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. I don't think anyone's ever gonna try with this knife. I welcome someone to try this mechanism, which obviously involves a spring, moving parts like this. This can get filled with grime or other things and probably fail to function during hard use. So probably not a real hard use knife compared to cold steel. Novelty established, just like this is a novelty knife in my opinion. Maybe you say this one's a novelty, and just its looks and everything. You can say this is novelty, and then you can say this is novelty. This is starting to get a theme. Donut. And you can say this is novelty. Why would you even have such a small blade? Why would it be this thick for such a small blade? All novelties, right? Okay, but what about the pros? Basically, the pro is that someone created the design and we're able to execute that design. So I think there's so many like boring knives out there. Whether it adds functions, it doesn't matter, because it can still give the user attraction to it, because you're creating a mechanism and it's something intricate, just like you would have a mechanical watch. So I think the design is quite unique. Voila, push it in. And the quality is phenomenal. Just like Reate, these guys are top tier. This is my first Reate knife, and if this is evident of the quality and what they don't hold back inside the intricate work, I for sure am a fan and would purchase any kind of Reate in the future. Very cool design. Alvin Lee, you are a genius, and Reate, you are a awesome OEM producer. Very, very good, and well worth the money. Well worth it. This is 820 for 500. Just want to get the simple one, don't want to go flashy. So worth the $500. And then con, it's heavy, it's complex. Like I said, for sure this is gonna get dirty and get clogged up and it's probably start failing at some point if you try to actually use this as a hard use or some kind of durable knife. Like I said, there's better other choices like cold steel that does better. It wouldn't slice as good as if it were a hollow, because Hollow it'll negate or improve the slicing action when you have such a thick blade. So this, I guess you can do the stabbing and prying of wood if you wanted to. It probably wouldn't snap. And then another con, what you can't feel and what I'm feeling right now, has a very strong detent when it's going in. Very strong, and then I can feel it when it's going here. There's no ramp here. So closing and operating is fine. It's not a drop shutty. I think what it has is a very strong detent, which makes it sensitive. Usually when you get strong detent knife, it makes it sensitive to frame lock. So if you have your fingers on the lock, you put the pressure on it and you'll actually feel it will not want to go. So you'll have to have your hand at this very long clip, and it's good that I have a long clip, and then no problem to snap it open. Very hard and nice sounding whack. So sensitive frame because of the strong detent. So if you're not a fan of that, you won't be a fan of this action. For me, it works fine. I have no problem of keeping my fingers off of the lock bar. So up to you. That's just a negative I just wanted to tell you about. Okay, and that's pretty much it. When this pushes in with precision. That's one side in, that's the other side in. When this slides up, slides fine. No problem. I don't feel any resistance. So super good quality. So conclusion, those are the pros and cons. Pros being that it's such a cool and unique design and it's so properly executed. It must have been exciting for Alvin Lee to design this and then for it actually to function like he designed it. So he must feel very proud of it, as he should, because it's a very phenomenal design and I think it's unique. And the cons, as I said, just the strong detent. So that would be the only thing. As long as you are not trying to use this as a hard use knife, I think beautiful knives can be these chunky knives as well. Man, they really didn't skimp out on the zirconia for that extra $320. It's so worth it. But zirconia will be okay as well if you decide to get the zirconia version. There's a fly right here. Okay, so that's it. This is the cool knife. Don't regret it. Love it. Love this purchase. And thanks for watching. So if you like this kind of video, make sure you subscribe. And if you appreciate it, the free things you can do is like and sub. Yep, that's it. Comment below if you have any other novelty knives that you think is worth looking at. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.